What's up, y'all? This is MVP with Juxtaposed, and today we're going to talk about friendships. We're going to talk about the friend zone. What is it? Should you even be there? We're going to talk about it today. Stay tuned.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Juxtaposed. Today we talk about the friend zone. What is it?
What's up, guys? We got my boy MVP to my right. We got Styles to my left. And we're going to be talking about the friend zone. Do we belong there? Does she belong there? Is it okay for her to put us there? We'll discuss it. Let's get it.
Okay. He took the aggressive approach. All right.
I know. I just like you say it with your chest, right?
Yeah, no.
I like it.
I was trying to ease us into the friend zone. He said, fuck it. We're going into the friend zone.
So if you were to ease into the friend zone, how would you say it?
See, that's how you get into the friend zone. You get eased into the
exactly.
friend zone.
That's probably,
See, he did
I
the
respect
science.
it. I respect it.
That's unacceptable.
Well, I don't know. Are we starting now? Or
No, we're going.
We're in the mix, man.
Okay,
We're in the mix.
This is what happens when we shoot in the same place and the drinks are flowing. These moments are slightly chaotic, but very entertaining for you, I hope.
Styles the mixologist.
Let us know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know why listen, I am good at technology, but they let me make drinks. So clearly some shit's about to happen.
Multifaceted male over here.
So today we talk about the friend zone. What is the friend zone? Why is the friend zone a thing? And can you put women in the friend zone?
Yo,
absolutely.
That was like the first question in my mind.
Yeah.
Because I think when people hear about the friend zone, we already know guys are typically the ones that's placed in the friend zone.
Facts.
But I do know people, like myself, who put people in the friend zone.
I'm about to say what?
Because of certain boundaries and standards that I have, right? No disrespect to anybody.
Okay, Jonah.
Or some disrespect. I'm willing to disrespect some people. Why not?
Wow.
Well, we'll see.
This is going to be an interesting episode, man.
We'll see.
Jeez. All right, let's go.
So what I think the friend zone is a place that you cannot escape from.
That's not true.
You can escape the friend zone.
You can't escape the friend zone?
You can escape the friend zone.
At one point, I called myself the friend zone converter.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I could move.
But hold on. But what kind of conversion is it? Do you convert them from the friend zone or do you get converted from the friend zone? I get
converted out of the friend zone.
So you get put in the friend zone.
Yes.
And then you get removed from the friend
Correct.
zone. So what put you in there and changed that took you out of that zone?
You know what's funny? You actually pointed it out in a statement, and hopefully we leave it in the edit, where it's like, taking the like non-aggressive approach generally lets you end up in the friend zone.
What? Oh, okay. All right. No. Non-aggressive. I get you.
So like not like saying that you're going out there like, cavemen. Oh, you Jane. Not like that, but like not being direct about like what your intentions are, and so you end up in a place where there's this like ambiguity around what the nature of your relationship is.
I agree.
And so you see me in that situations a lot of times, and sometimes I was like, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna figure our way out of this. And, you put a little Heisman to the friend zone and you get out of there.
Heisman. So you've been in a situation where you didn't want to be in the friend zone, but you were in the friend zone.
100%. I think at some point as an adult, you definitely run into that one way or the other. Especially if you're like, you have friends and dating and all of that. It's possible.
Yeah, I would agree. I had a coworker once that told me, if you're not making mistakes, you're not working. So if you're not, it's the truth. Because people who are working will eventually make a mistake. If you're not working, you will never make a mistake because you're not working.
Unless your mistake is not working and then you get fired.
And then, no mistakes for you.
So the reason why I say that is because if you're not attempting to link with people, you're never going to get rejected. People who are out there doing the work get rejected sometimes. Yeah. Getting put in the friend zone is their way of rejecting you. So all of that ties into what you're saying.
I like the point that you said that. Like the rejection and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess my thing is, if I'm going to be in the friend zone, then we should act like it. Because
well, first, before we go too far into this, can we define what the friend zone is?
My understanding of the friend zone is that this is a place that you end up when the person you're trying to move to a next step with does not want to go there with you. So you're like, oh no, we're just friends, and that's the extent of the relationship.
Okay, is that how you define?
So I can understand your point. I don't know why I'm talking like that. I can understand what you're saying here. I guess for me, it's a place where you know not to do certain things, right?
Like what?
Like, I don't know, making moves. Like, if you're at the movie theater and you do the yawn with the arm around, you can't do that with your friend.
People really do that though?
I don't know. I seen it in the movie one time.
So 1982, 83, that was the move. Yeah.
You can't do that. Or like spending the night and sleeping in the same bed.
Okay, you can't sleep in the same bed with your friend.
No.
Okay,
that's the friend zone. You're not supposed to do that. You got to sleep. You got to sleep on like the couch.
Okay,
or
so
if she gets the main bed.
Okay,
bed.
but what if there's no couch, and she's like, yeah, come, you can stay in the bed. We're friends, but you can sleep in the bed. Then what? Is that not? It's not approved or not? Is not friend zone allowed?
That's a special situation. But
yeah, if you have no couch, it's a whole nother couch.
Yeah, right.
But we've been there. I've been there. I didn't have this couch in 2021.
Right.
It was
right. But
possible.
even with that, you have an understanding in your mind, which I think that understanding is always in the back of both of y'all mind. That if we're gonna lay here, that nothing is supposed to happen.
Right.
And being in the friend zone, you automatically are thinking like that, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing is supposed to happen.
Right.
This is like, yes. I don't like. It might even be kind of weird to do like hit the feet.
Okay, that's
weird.
That's weird, right? That's crazy, right?
Weird, yeah.
Because I don't care how friendly you are, I don't want your foot in my face.
But you know, like, I know y'all had like grew up with siblings and cousins. You do the hit the feet thing, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do that, but there is an understanding. Like, hey, there's probably maybe a barrier pillow here or something right here that like separates us from that.
That's the line.
Yeah, that's the line. So, like, I would say there's a line somewhere in there with everything y'all do, right? You can talk about people you're interested in. Because if I'm your friend, you shouldn't get mad when I talk about people I'm interested in, and vice versa. I shouldn't get mad when she talks about people, right?
Right.
We're starting to talk about boundaries of friend zone. Right. You're in the friend zone. Like now, I feel like Styles has something he wants to say.
No, continue.
But if we're still staying on the definition of the friend zone, there are boundaries, and I don't know if you have to actually speak it yet because everybody has their own idea of friend zone.
Of course,
but that's why we're here. It's Juxtaposed to talk about it.
Absolutely.
But you already have those boundaries in your mind of certain things you can't do while you're in the friend zone, and that's what I think the friend zone is.
I agree.
There's almost unspoken boundaries because.
Why is it unspoken? I think that's part of the problem. Why is it unspoken? It should be. You need to Jonah Hill this, bro.
I'll tell you why it's unspoken, because one person is comfortable with that situation and the other person is uncomfortable with that situation. And the person that's comfortable with that situation is the person that doesn't want to hurt the feelings of the person that's uncomfortable with that situation.
So I think that approach is one situation. I think there's also a point where there is spaces where people want that person to hang on to the hopes of it being something so that they can keep, stringing the person along.
They like the validation. They want to go out. They want the attention. They're basically stringing the person along. And the reality of it is in attempting to not hurt their feelings, you're actually destroying that person emotionally, because you're keeping them hanging on to something that they believe that they could potentially get, but they will never have. That's that's the reality of it.
To use a very disconnected analogy, it's like the lottery, right? It's like the potential of winning is the reason why people go out and spend money.
Okay,
but the likelihood of anybody winning is
very low,
very, very low. So that's literally what it feels like when you have the situation of like the person kind of stringing you along.
Yeah,
and honestly, I think that is emotional manipulation.
I agree.
So before we get into
we went deep on that.
Yeah, because I have a disagreement, right? Because from the inception of Friendzone, I feel like
he was around during the inception of Friendzone. Go ahead.
Back in the time.
Back in my day
when it was first introduced to me.
When the Roman philosophers decided.
There needs to be a name for this. But people are under an impression that it has to be one person is interested in another.
Always.
And that's where I'm like, okay, if we're going to say that's the original idea of the friend zone, I want to challenge that and say two people could mutually want to be just friends. Is that the friend zone?
So
that's different.
I would like to attack that because one of the items we have on the board is, can males and females be platonic friends?
Right.
Even say male. But go ahead, continue.
We can. I can say it. Maybe they can, but I can say it. If that's the situation where both of them have zero interest in each other romantically, sexually,
right,
then that's not the friend zone. Those are just friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so
like two straight males just being buddies.
And this is where I want to like
let's go to Brokeback.
It's giving.
Were they two? They were not exactly.
They were friends.
They were more than friends. They were more than friends.
Brokeback?
I didn't watch the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I heard. I didn't watch the movie either.
You heard.
I didn't watch the movie either.
No, the way you said that, it sounded like you had a first hand.
Can I just divert really quickly? I attempted. There was a time in my life where I thought, Aaron, you are an open-minded male.
Okay.
Go ahead. This is. Does Netflix still do the sleeves where they send you the DVDs and everything?
Yeah, probably been around that time.
So I got the DVD for Brokeback because it was like, I'm open-minded. I'm going to check this out. I'm open-minded enough. Bro, I don't remember anything from the movie. I do remember that there was one scene where both of them were sleeping in a tent.
Yep.
Okay.
And there was some rustling going on in there. I hit the eject button. I put that thing right back in the sleeve. And I sent it right back to Netflix. I never looked back. I don't know what that movie's about. I just know that two dudes were doing something. I didn't want any more information, and that's where it ended for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Once I heard the rumors, and I say rumors because I don't know. I didn't check any facts, people. But once I heard the rumors about like how crazy the movie was, I was like, well, that's fine for them.
Somebody's gonna be like, yo, look at these homophobic black men here.
Unacceptable.
Degrade. You know it's coming. Listen, I'm always the person to be like, yeah, I know somebody's got theirs. So I'm just let you know.
It's the same as if someone created a movie about animal abuse. I'm going to hit the eject button. I'm going to put it in the sleeve and I'm going to send it back. You know why? I have no interest in watching someone abuse animals. Same applies to a movie about... This movie, this conversation about the friend zone.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here.
Bring it back, but it's just different strokes for different folks,
Correct.
which has a whole other connotation, but we're not going to get into.
Yeah.
Moving along.
So to go back to what we were saying is, hey, if two people are not interested romantically like that, then
that's not
the friend zone doesn't exist.
That's not the friend zone.
Correct. That's just friends.
So the friend zone is definitely somebody has to be interested, quote unquote, and somebody has to not be interested.
Correct.
Or like, you know.
In that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're being put somewhere that you don't want to be.
So for the remainder of this conversation, we're going to stay with the definition.
Correct.
Because that'll help me plead my case in certain situations.
Plead your case.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, cool. So now that we've
established that.
Yeah.
Now that we've established that, my thing is, I have another disagreement.
Okay.
Which is, hey, I could have been interested. But once we're friends, you're telling me I can't change my mind? And be like, all right, I want to be just friends now. And when I say me, I'm saying whoever is in the friend zone.
You want to be more than friends now?
No. Say if I'm that person who wanted to be more than friends, but I was placed in the friend zone. Are you telling me that I cannot change my mind and say, hey,
I'm just friends.
You know what? I actually like this friendship.
That can happen.
Let's stay in the friend zone.
That can happen.
Or are you thinking, oh, he's just biding his time?
Well, I think the two things can be true. I think that in a lot of situations, people are like, well, yep, I'll just be friends with this person. At some point, when they would have really realized that I was the best option, and then that is it's a terrible way to do it. I think a lot of people do end up in that way, but so that is true. But I do think that like at the core, if there was some interest or potential of interest, it's very hard to be friends just like that, even if it was one-sided. Because at some point, there's always going to be a question of what the interaction was. If you do something like you open the door, is that just being friendly, or are you still making an attempt to get to this person? I'm thinking like heterosexual male-female dynamics, right? Because that's the one I feel comfortable talking about.
Right.
Is that potentially something that was flirtatious, or are you just being nice, right? Like, or even with friends, like there's times when you go out with like for me, I go out with some of my female friends, and I'm like, yo, no shit's happening when I'm here, right? Like no random shit, no dude doing no extra shit. Like I shut all that down, unless you say, hey, there's somebody I'm interested in, you do your thing. But that's a female friend thing. Like, they assume that I'm being protective in the aspect of like, well, I need to protect you, so you're all mine. Like, unless you have no interest, and there was no interest in general, I feel like there's always be a question of whether or not your intentions are genuine or a potential move for like you're moving one pawn, so later on you're able to get the queen. So that was layered, but
so let me ask you a question, Aaron. And I want you to think about this.
I'll do my best.
So, is it? I love that easy to do my best. So, is it wrong then to say, "Hey, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm gonna buy my time. I'm gonna be your friend, even though you have the intentions of getting out of that zone." And now, hold on, real quick. If we was at war though, you wouldn't tell the other person that you're trying to win against your plans. But if you don't tell them the plans when we start talking about friendships and stuff, is that wrong?
So let me see if I understand what you posed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the friend zone.
You're in the friend zone.
I don't want to leave the friend zone. I want to continue to just be friends.
No,
you want to.
You want to leave the friend zone.
I want to leave the friend zone.
Yes. But you know that you have to play the game. So is it wrong for you to, like, yeah, okay, I'm in the friend zone. That's not really what I want, but I ain't gonna say nothing.
Right.
I'm gonna actually play the long game.
No, I'll let you go first.
So if we're talking about me, I'm not playing the long game at all. If I am in the friend zone and I quote unquote want to leave the friend zone, and you have no intention of taking it beyond this, you're going to be by yourself doing whatever you do, and I'm going to be doing what I do, because I think I have a little bit too much confidence in myself to remain in that position.
You seem like a confident individual.
To a degree. To a degree. I have my insecurities, and I'm confident in certain areas as well. But I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that with anyone. Like, you want to keep me there? That's fine. You can keep me there.
You can do whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to be around for it, but you can keep me there. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm going to define exactly what I want to do and for how long I want to 100%. Do that. And once I get to that threshold where I no longer am interested in doing this, I'm out. That's it. It's a wrap. I'm moving on. Life goes on, bro.
And I want to say, this is one of the reasons why it's always good to have friends like him, or even people like you that like call certain things out. Because I was one of the people that would have like, oh yeah, I like to call out. And I know like our friend DJ 12, he's probably heard me say this. So I'm like, that one over there, I'm gonna wait. I'll wait and see. And the time will. And I was like, yo, realistically, that's a stupid approach, right? Like, because.
Oh, yeah, he's actually said that?
No, I said that to him.
Oh, you've said that.
To him about other people that, I'll just hold on. And that's why, like being in that like waiting pattern. I've done that, and sometimes I got to the point where I'm like, as a self-respecting individual, is it really worth having anybody around you that you're just keeping warm? It's like a sales call. You're keeping them warm just in case you could convert later. And at a certain point, it became not interesting for me. Like, I don't want to do that. And it was literally like watching, like, this guy he's very direct. Yeah. And he's like, hey, this is what I want. And I was like, I respect that, bro. Like, this is just kind of how I wanted. I respect how that moves. So, I aligned my life to be that way. But I was the person that would wait.
Yeah. I don't see myself as a loser.
Damn,
and I see that I don't see myself as a loser.
And I elaborate a little bit on that one.
I will elaborate so much it's gonna become even brighter in here than it currently is.
Yo, let me get my
you might need some shades or something to
Damn, I made these drinks too strong.
This is how I normally speak anyway.
It really is.
I'm currently married, as you know. When I got to a certain point with my now wife where I decided I no longer want to continue this as being quote unquote a friendship, I made my move. We went out and I kissed her. And in my own head, it was going to be, if she's rejecting this kiss, it's time for me to keep it pushing.
Yeah.
If she's receiving of this, then this is going to go further. In my head, that was a defined moment in time. Okay. And that's literally how I've always done things in my life. And even like working relationships, everything. It's just, that's how it is. So there is no, and I have been in the friend zone in the past, but that's what helped me define how I'm going to move in terms of my own desires for myself. It's like, I've been put here before. And I didn't want to be there. And like Kyle said, I was quote unquote keeping the couch warm or whatever. But I was
he added the couch. I didn't say couch, but go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Continue.
It just sounds
weird. But yeah, I've done that, and I was like probably in my early 20s when that happened.
Okay.
And then as you get older and you start. It really does boil down to a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Because if you are confident in your ability to attract other people, you're not wasting time on one person. Yeah. You're not doing that. People
unless it's the right person. Yeah. Unless it's
even if it is the right person, you're not wasting time. Because how is it the right person when they are not interested? That's not the right person.
Yeah, you're right.
The right person is receiving. The right person is not rejecting. So easily, you just have to determine what you want for yourself.
I'm going to throw something out there.
Go ahead, throw it.
So what if the person isn't necessarily rejecting? It's just that there's certain concerns they have that's out of your control.
Certain controls out of my control. Please get a little bit more defined.
Elaborate.
So what if they're not emotionally available? It's not that they don't like you.
What does that mean?
Fuck them.
Damn. Okay.
Fuck them.
Try to give them a little bit of will.
You can bleep that. You can bleep that if you need to.
Nah, because we're going to be talking about some other
You're
stuff
not
too,
emotionally available, and I understand that and I respect that, but I am emotionally available. My life goes on. My life is not defined by your timelines. Yeah. I'm sorry. Now, if this is a situation where we're in a relationship already and something's going on between you and your partner or you and your wife, you absolutely show up for your partner. But if I'm in the courting stage and I'm available to start going, I want to take my life to a new level that you're not available, I'm out of here. It's like someone who's ready for kids and marriage. Why would that person continue to push their life behind for someone who is not? You got to move on.
Yep. I got one more.
Go ahead.
He knocked that one out the park. So I'm like, let me give him one more. And I think this will be a curveball. So I hope you're good at baseball.
All right, go for it.
They had a passing in their family.
Oof.
Did I get him, y'all? Did I get him, y'all? I ain't never seen him say, you got quiet. Because now, there's life and death involved, and maybe they do want to be, but like
it's insensitive.
But I want to say one thing, and I'll jump in there. I think that there's a certain amount. There's like a bucket of what you're willing to tolerate. And no, I'm wait. Let me
He
finish.
doesn't tolerate no buckets.
Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying though. I feel like I spend my life compartmentalizing stuff, right? And there's a certain stuff you're willing to tolerate. If you're in a relationship where it's one-sided and this person is not emotionally available, at some point you're going to make a determination, well, regardless of what's going on, I'll be there for you as a friend, but I'm not going to waste my time on somebody that's not emotionally available. And it really goes back to the confidence and your self-respect. I don't know how else to say it, but your self-respect, because you're like, well, I'm not going to lend myself to somebody who's taking and it's not a two-way street, right? So I'm going to go ahead and distance myself from that. And yes, I understand that they have stuff going on, but like, sounds cold to say, but what about what's important to me? Okay. And that's where the self-respect comes from. So the passing in your family is tough. I'll be there for you. But how long you need to grieve? Because after that, I'm hot out. This guy. I mean, I'm sorry. That's so cold. That's cold.
I'm a little bit different.
Come on, Aaron. What you really got for me? Because Styles is talking like this. I can't wait to hear what you got to say.
Yo, this is what happened. Used to happen when y'all let me make drinks.
It was like I understand someone passed and everything, but
it's rough, man. I'm sorry to hear it.
So my vision of that is if it's someone I'm interested in and that person does have interest in me, but they're going through emotional turmoil, passing of a partner, passing of a family member, something like that. Okay. I'm not gonna take on the same mentality as FM. I'm not taking on that mentality. I believe that if it's someone that I'm interested in and that person does have a mutual level of interest, but right now they're going through something emotionally, I could take a backseat for a few, like Styles said, I could take a backseat for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. You know, like it's not like it has to happen right now. I'm willing to continue to see you. I'm willing to help you through this rough moment because I think that is going to be the definition of a good partner. If I'm going through something like this, right, and this person was willing to put how they feel aside to make sure that in that moment of need that my emotional needs were being met, that to me, that's like you just got an A+. Yeah. So me, I would show up for them in that manner. But now, if we're talking 3 years later, you're still quote unquote grieving. But that's where I have to take on the other side of his argument and say, what about how I'm feeling? Like my life can't remain stagnant for 3 years as you got to go to therapy or something and figure this out.
But the thing about it is that there is a space where the emotional manipulation happens where it's like every time, oh, well, we're done here. It's like, oh, well, my great aunt just passed.
And that gets thrown in your face.
No, and that just like, it sounds funny and you're laughing. It's hard to be serious when you're laughing.
Great aunt.
Not regular aunt, but just the great aunt.
You clearing off the board. You're just killing everybody. Every time somebody you have an issue. But I've literally seen it. Or the worst one is like, oh, I'll hurt myself at this point to stop you from leaving. And that's like, there is a point where that emotional manipulation is too much.
I agree. Right? I agree. So, I don't want to hear about a great aunt. I'm not trying to hear that.
Yo, the great aunt could have been important. That person could have raised you.
You're right. You're absolutely right. But. And again, the rules will fall.
Like there was a but there.
The rules will fall back. I'll give you some time. I'll be there for you. But again, there's got to be a timeline here.
And I think it goes back to the conversation about self-respect, because the question is whether is this person stringing you along just to keep you in a position long enough, or do they actually really need help? Right? Like, do they really need help? And if they need help, then it's up to you to figure out how much you want to tolerate and how much you want to do. But
so we went around.
Yeah, bro, we've been sure.
But I want to go back to the original question,
which was
because
I don't
Aaron,
remember.
I'm locked in. So you gave me what you would do. But my question is, do you think it is wrong if someone stays in that friend zone just to later down the line get the yams, right? So
the yams.
What is that person doing in the interim would be my question. So they're hanging out in the friend zone, but are they on the side doing their own thing while keeping this plate spinning? Or
get to the yams.
Or
He said yams,
are they literally not doing anything else? They are just going about their life and waiting for this person to come around.
Let's say you gave me some great scenarios. I appreciate you. So I would say the first one.
They're spinning other plates.
They're spinning other plates, but they are interested in that person. Like, because if you
I don't see anything wrong with that because you're doing your thing.
Yeah, because if you're just sitting there, you know how I feel like a wise man said, I don't think of myself as a loser, right? You remember a wise man said that?
A wise man said, I don't think of myself as a loser. I got it.
You know who said that?
Yeah. I'm aware.
I'm dialed in.
I'm waiting for you to land the plane.
Yeah, so the plane landing is, I don't think you should be, especially if you're in the friend zone, you should be just twiddling your thumbs and like sitting there patiently waiting for the moment that she might say, "Oh my God, I love you."
If you're that type of dude, you know how to play the game.
Well,
the one who's twiddling his thumbs is a loser.
The loser, yeah.
The one who's like still going on about his life, still seeing other people, still doing what he's doing, but he's kind of waiting for this other person to come around.
I'm not really waiting. Is it really waiting? I think that is a long-term investment.
Who are we talking about? The one twiddling the thumbs?
No, not twiddle thumb. If you are doing your thing, twiddle thumb and twiddle D, like we ain't got nothing to do with. We ain't talking about them.
Okay,
but like that, and that's just what I'm saying. It's a hard line because for me, if you're like, okay, cool, I'm already doing my thing, but like this is somebody that every now and again we're cool, we hang out, blah blah blah. That's a different.
You're just checking the temp
every
once in a while.
Hey, is it baked yet?
Hey, buddy.
It's not baked yet.
Hey, stranger.
So that's a different conversation. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just that for me, I know, like personally, like when you're with somebody and you see somebody doing that, also, you're like, all right, bro. I already know what the deal is. I know why this dude is reaching out to you. I gotta deal with it.
He's checking in.
There's a certain point where you have to deal with it, and if you tell him this is, and he continues,
because that happens while a person is in a actual relationship.
Yes,
where they may have a male friend or female, depending on your orientation, who is constantly checking the temperature of the person that you're with, because they're biding their time, so to speak, when things might go rough.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I'll be that shoulder to cry on.
Yep.
Next thing you know, dick's in you.
Yep.
So in your stomach.
Wait,
so
whoa! I wasn't expecting that. That was good. Go ahead. Continue.
So that leads me to the whole point of like, can men and women be friends, right? Because I like
how he transitioned into that. This guy's smooth.
Come on, man.
This guy's smooth. It's a trends, ain't it? This guy's smooth.
I want to point out, you guys have taken the transition game to a whole nother level.
This guy's smooth.
Had no transitions today to match the way y'all have it. So good
job.
What
I'm saying? I had a cup. You know what I mean?
This guy hit up Adobe and got his transition game on point. I see what you're doing.
I like that. We're not drinking right now, though. So no shade.
No, I'm sipping.
Where? I ain't seen a cup past your face. Huh? I ain't seen a cup past your face this whole conversation.
And I think that's part of the smoothness.
That's you setting us up, bro.
Because I did, do my thing. And y'all can check the receipts. This is recorded. So, but no, to go back to what I was saying, with what you were saying, Aaron, if someone, and I think it's about keeping people in orbit. I think that's a real thing, right? And so, can a guy and a woman, because you can't call them females and you can't call them a girl anymore.
You can.
But guy and a woman. And can they be friends? First of all, it's the first question.
Yes, 100%.
Can they be just friends?
100%.
100%.
I say no.
Oh, here we go.
I say no. And the reason why they cannot just be friends, there's a caveat to it. One person has to, or both persons have to be unattracted to each other.
I don't necessarily.
If you are attracted to her and she's attracted to you or vice versa, that is not a real friendship in my opinion. But one of those people is holding on to something, and that is not a real friendship. You and I are friends. Mm-hmm. There's zero physical or sexual attraction between the two of us.
100%. But
exactly.
That doesn't work. That doesn't work when you introduce.
Bro, we've been to Miami on many occasions. Hold on.
When you're talking about men and women, it's slightly different because I think that the bond that's had a lot of times is based on whether or not the potential of that actually going to. And some people are like, well, it'll never go anywhere, so that's fine. And in that space, yes, you can just be friends. Because if you both accept that, hey, this is not going to happen, and even on the drunkest night, this is not going to happen, then that's just a friendship.
Maybe I don't think the same way.
Maybe please
educate me. Not maybe. Clearly, I don't think the same way. Because let's just put me in this position.
Okay.
If I'm attracted to a woman and she is not attracted to me, I could see myself still trying. That's not a real friendship. I'm only there because I'm holding on to the maybe.
But is there no specifics? There's no case where you're like, you know what? Even if there was a potential of this, I don't really want to do this. I like this person as a friend, right? Like this person, the way that we interact, the way, we check in, the way that is, there's no real reason to cross that barrier, and that's fine.
What if she came on to you?
Like, bro, what you doing?
That's what you're gonna say, bro. What you doing? What?
Listen, if we're a friend,
and then what?
Relax. Bro, what you doing?
And then
it
what?
depends if you're drunk. I'm like, yo, go drink some Gatorade, bro.
That's what you're gonna do.
Sponsored by Gatorade? No, we're not. Anyway,
that's what you're gonna do.
No. If it's somebody that I've put in that space where you're just a friend, because the weird thing is we don't ever talk about guys friend zoning women.
I can't wait to get to it.
But it does happen, and when it happens, if they step over that line, you hit him with the Heisman.
I'm going to applaud this man.
Okay.
And this is the reason why I'm going to applaud this man, because he has a lot more discipline and self-control than a lot of other men. I'm the kind of dude where it's like, if I'm on a diet, don't keep cupcakes in the house. Because as much as I might not want to eat that cupcake, there's going to be a moment in time where I'm going to be hungry and that cupcake is going to have me salivating. And I'm going to partake of that cupcake.
But sometimes the cupcake ain't worth it.
It might not be worth it, but in that moment of need, that cupcake is going to get eaten.
But here's the thing. I think that there's an importance of compartmentalizing.
And this is why I said applaud this man.
I guess.
Because there's a level of self-control that you contain that not most people contain. Like, again, back to the analogy of food. If I'm on a diet, keep the garbage out of the house, because there's going to be a day, like I work a lot. I just got done telling MVP this week I was getting called at 3 a.m. I was getting destroyed. If I'm hungry and there's nothing else to eat in the house and the cupcake sits there, despite the fact that I'm on a diet, I'm going to eat it. It's 3 in the morning. I'm hungry.
Yeah, but let's remove the food analogy, because
I can't work it the way I want to work it, because cupcakes are delicious.
Yeah, you can't.
So I'm like,
when you're a single man with a woman that you are attracted to, they are delicious.
Yeah, but what about if it's like, a whipped cream cupcake, where you go and you eat the cupcake and it's like, it's all whipped cream and you're like, I shouldn't have done this. This wasn't even worth the time.
It might not be.
I'll match you that.
Okay.
I would say you're on a diet. You're counting days. I'm going to get back with Aaron. I ain't going to let him just slide with this cupcake analogy. If you've ever been on a diet and you go off of it, you feel like shit, because now you're starting over.
Immediately.
And imagine if you've started over as you have aged in life. You have more experience. It's like, damn, I keep restarting my diet. At some point, you're going to be like, yo, fuck that cupcake, bro. You're not going to cause me. And this is, I'm going to start getting passionate, because I've been around cupcakes. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to eat the cupcake. And then I'm like, yo, I've been in situations where I'm like, yo, now I feel like shit because I knew that cupcake was no good for me.
Yeah.
And so now when I'm approached by other cupcakes, when they're calling my name, they're like, MVP, come here, me.
Okay, now I love what you said because you had to go through some situations that put you in a painful place and caused you to develop some self-control so that now you know, hey, if this happens, I'm not going to do it. That is a very small minority of the of people in general. The average person does not have that level of self-control and will consume the cupcake. So to get back to the whole friendship thing, why I feel that way is because not everyone, because everything I say is not going to apply to everyone. It's going to apply to certain people. And I feel in my application, no, you cannot be friends with someone that you are attracted to because you're going to have to continuously test your self-control when you're around that person. And then if that person comes to you asking for advice about another person they're seeing, there's going to be a little bit inherent jealousy that you're going to feel because you want to be that person. You know, that there's all these different things that are going to happen as a result of how you feel towards this person. And in my definition of friendship, that is not a true friendship. You're sitting there with the expectation that potentially one day this will be someplace else. That is not a friend.
And you know what? I agree. And as you know, you've laid out the facts in such a very specific way. I agree. Because I think of a case where I had somebody that for all intents and purposes, this person was a friend. I mean, you all know who she was. This person was a friend, and as a friend, I'm like, hey, well, I'm interested in this other person, and we start having these conversations. She's telling me about the dudes she's into. I'm telling her about the girls that I'm into.
Correct.
Then she's like, well, I don't understand why you're into this person. You've never given me a chance. I'm like, whoa. Friend zone violation.
Flag. That's a flag on the plate. We talked about boundaries, yo. Boundaries. Friend zone.
Boundaries.
But the problem with that is then that created a whole space where I ended up in a space where I'm like, damn, well, should I have been more aggressive with this person? And then when I did, it didn't go that way. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then I started, I guess I was an asshole. But I was talking to one of her friends. We're all cool. But then she would jump in and say, oh, no, you can't tell the friend. You can't mess around with this with me because he's something to me. And I'm like, this is why I'm talking about the emotional manipulation part.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's not that you want anything other than you to get the attention. Because the thing about it is I could still be friends with you and date your friends. If your homegirl is interested in me,
that's a friend.
That's a friend, right? Oh, you know what?
A friend will put you on.
You go ahead. You do your thing. I hope you're all happy. Make sure I got a space in the wedding.
A friend will celebrate the fact that she was able to get you two together.
Correct. And honestly, as we go through this thought process, I think I agree with you. Like in that case, that person's not a friend. And as a result, she got blocked and everything.
That's what I'm saying. If there are situations in which that friendship could potentially, if you're holding on, I should say, to potential anything, that's not my definition of a real friend. That's a person that is there for you with the expectation that maybe there's a potential that something as small as it may be could inch its way in. And I can't define that.
And I think that is at the core emotional manipulation.
Correct.
So basically, what you're saying is for the friend zone or friendship, let's not even say friend zone, the friendship to work, somebody got to be ugly.
Not ugly.
Wait, not
ugly. Like just a lack of attraction.
You're not interested in that person at all.
Right.
Because it could be the most attractive person, you could still not be interested in.
Right, because what do they say? Like things like taste is very subjective. Your definition of ugly might not be my definition of ugly. So I wouldn't say the person has to be ugly. It's more so about attraction. If there's a romantic or physical attraction, a real friendship cannot exist because there's always going to be some There's going to be some tendencies.
So the reason why I use
tension.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Reason why I used ugly, because I want the listeners and viewers to be clear when I use the word unattractive. Right?
That doesn't mean ugly, though. Go ahead.
I want to be clear.
Okay.
We're saying this person is unattractive. Ugly.
Unattractive to that person.
Well, no. In a general sense, I think y'all know some people where you're like, that's an ugly motherfucker.
Yeah, son.
No? You never been in that situation?
That took a turn.
I think when you speak on general consensus, there are some people that generally can be considered.
Bear with me. I'm going to land the plane.
Land the plane.
Yeah, bro.
I've been in
signaled in, bro. Come on, bring it in, bro.
Here, right here, land here. But why I'm saying that is because I've had conversations with my homegirls' boyfriends because at one point they didn't trust me as their actual friend because of the way I look. And
so the boyfriend saw you as a threat
because of the way I look. And they're like, hey.
So the boyfriend thought you were good looking.
We going back to we going
whatever
full circle
you might say.
We're going full circle.
Like,
the boyfriend didn't consider you ugly.
And so my thing is, I've been in other situations where they're like, well, there's no way y'all friends because you're attractive and she's attractive. And I thought that was discrimination.
Discrimination.
Because
that's a strong title.
Because you're saying that you're saying I can't. You're saying that I can't be friends with this person because of the way I look.
How dare he?
Which is that not discrimination, yo?
Jesus Christ.
Yo,
it's
I'm
not
sorry,
my fault I look good.
This just took a whole turn.
How dare you?
And I'm not trying to say it like that, but I'm trying to get the thought process out there, right? Because I was like, well, that's kind of messed up because I'm genuinely this person's friend and you don't even know me. You're just basing whatever the fuck you. And I've actually had a conversation with the dudes. And they're like, you know what? MVP, you all right.
How did that conversation start? You know what, man? You too good looking to be around my girl, bro.
The conversation.
Like, yo, those dreads are too wavy, bro.
What you doing, bro?
The actual conversation started because they were about to break up with the girl. And they were asking
because
me,
of you?
No,
because
of whatever they had
home
going
wrecker.
on. And he was like, hey, are we still going to be friends?
What?
And I'm like,
hey, yo,
I don't even know how to answer this question.
You're about to break up with a girl and you go to her friend and say, hey, are we still gonna be friends?
So like I just want to let you know, me and this girl, we're gonna break up. But I still want us to be cool.
This was a straight guy?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that? Well, like he's worried about you. He's about to leave his girl, but he's worried about maintaining the connection with you.
Make sure I have the armament lined up
I'm
properly.
about to throw her to the curb.
Yeah, but I want to make sure.
Can we keep this going?
Listen, my bro, we're good, right?
Bro,
we're good.
My wife has male friends. If any of them came to me and said, "Is this gonna still?" I'd be like, "Nigga, what the fuck?"
and I try to be like a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, that seems like a strange thing. Because one, this is my friend. Like the girl is my friend.
So you're still gonna be friends with her.
Exactly.
Right.
Because she's my friend. The only reason why I know you is because we're friends.
Right.
Now, I do want to say there is a situation where you do, like, depending on the breakup, the question of the loyalty does come up. Because I've had places where, like, I'm friends with this one person, but then I meet their significant other and we're cool. We're all cool. We hung out together. But at the stage of divorce, then you're like, whew. Where did I go?
Choose a side.
So bringing it full circle, I think that is a legitimate question to ask.
I could see that because I actually have a female friend who got married, and as a result of being friends with her, like her dude hit me up like a week ago with computer problems. Mm-hmm. I hate computer problems. I don't want to fix anyone's computer problems. But I went over there, and then she hit me up like, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming by?" I'm like, "What the fuck?" I would have thought your man would have told you I'm coming by. He hit me up.
That's an internal problem y'all need to deal with.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I said to her. I was like, "Y'all don't talk." That's exactly what I said to her. But I went over there to help him out, and he was even then when I was helping him with the computer problem, he was like, "Yo," because he's trying to lose weight and shit. He was like, "Can we go walking together and stuff?" So
it's
you
possible.
know what? I'm being.
You gotta turn around.
I'm being stupid, but the reality is that
It's
possible.
possible.
that is possible.
It seems a little bit less expected, especially I would say from the male standpoint, because we're not like, I don't want to be like, oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, if you know, you're cool and my significant other, that we're still cool. We just expect it seems like a weird thing.
It wouldn't even be something you have to
but
question.
like,
I'll still hit you up.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And when the question was posed, I didn't even know they had some issues.
That's even worse.
So
then that's
when
how
he
you
said that,
aware.
I was like, I mean, yeah, we cool. I mean, I don't know how to like,
Yeah.
we cool. And then like I actually had lunch with her and she told me what the situation was. I was like,
That makes sense.
oh,
Now it all came full circle. Yeah.
But then I'm like, and that's what he was like. Yeah, you know, I guess he was like pleading his case. Like, yeah, you know, I thought you was like, you know, this way, but like, you know, we've hung out and and I think you're cool. Which is funny that you say, is he straight? Now, that, as I'm saying this, it sounds kind of suspect, but I think he's straight.
No, but I get it now. Like,
I think
at
he's
first
straight.
I was being stupid, but
Okay,
I get it. I get it.
But the thing that I don't think that like in that situation, it's a attractiveness thing. It's like if you create a bond with somebody and that bond is bigger than how you were initially introduced, then
Okay.
you know, like I'm just wondering, like if I'm looking at the board of all my friends, I know that I acquired this friend because of this thing, and now we're not like that thing is removed. Do we still talk? Are we still cool? That's the
Speaking
question.
of board, sorry, gotta
I want to know where the hell you're going with this one.
Do you rank your friends?
Rank?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
Like, do you have like your top 5 friends, like MySpace?
I have friends that I'm closer to, and then I have friends that I'm not as close to. Is there a number assigned to that? Absolutely not.
I wouldn't say I rank it, but I definitely I have like this is the core people. This is people who are like, yeah, these people are cool. I know them. And I don't expect anything from them. Well, that's a whole
other conversation.
Whole other conversation for another podcast. But yeah, like I don't think that there's a number attributed to it. Please enlighten.
I baited y'all a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
So forgive me. The reason why I asked this is because if you have in your mind your top 5,
Okay.
and one of those happens to be somebody you're in the friend zone with,
Out of your top 5, you're friend zoned with one of those top 5s. Okay.
would you do like? I think we had this conversation of like, hey, you know what? I'm good. I don't want to mess up this friendship. Technically, you're not still in the friend zone anymore.
No. I don't think so.
I don't want to mess this.
So
yo,
essentially, you've gotten to the point where this person you were interested in, you realize that, well, maybe it's not going to work out. Right? Like maybe in another lifetime.
Regardless of everything, you guys have come to a terms that this is actually now an actual friend.
A mutual understanding that this doesn't really work out for either of you, right?
You're friends.
You're just friends, so there's no more friend zone.
And let's say y'all didn't even have that conversation.
But it became that.
But then,
naturally.
But then, to go back to what Styles is saying, where he's like, hey, you're like, yo, you have self-control and all this other stuff. At a certain level, I don't even think it's self-control because it's like, hey, if I've put you in my top 5 as a friend, just because you are attractive, and this, I'm trying to.
The attractive part creates like a confusion there because the attractiveness is not important in that situation.
That's where I'm getting at.
Okay.
Fuck the attraction. I like my friend to be where they're at. We've been here for 5-6 years. I might think she's attractive, but she's my top 5.
That's
so when I
homie.
tell you, nothing would never happen.
That's your
you
homie.
need to trust.
That's your homie. I
what
get
the fuck
it.
I'm talking about.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so I think people don't see that though. They just see, men and women can't be friends.
Well, but again, based on what I said, remember I said that this is not something that is going to apply to everyone. It's going to just apply to the majority. Because there is no matter what situation you're discussing, there's always going to be the majority and then there's going to be the minority. And I think there is a very small minority of people where the male and the female are both attracted to each other. but they can still just be friends and nothing will ever happen. That's a very small minority.
Yeah.
Most people will give in to that attraction if the right situation were to present itself. And there's no way you could ever change my mind on that. No matter what it is, the very small minority is going to be able to say absolutely not. The majority, they're going to give in to their desires. And we see that every day in every aspect of life. People give in to their desires in various aspects of life. And that's why I feel that way. Mm-hmm. It's not a lot of people with the mental capacity or the self-control or the discipline or whatever. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And you're just part of that minority.
Am I?
I mean, it sounded like it was.
Yeah.
I'm glad you was able to come to that conclusion. You know what?
At least based on what you're saying. This is a
real insightful guy. Right?
Look at that.
See how okay, you got me. You got me. We locked in.
So I think to wrap this all up, I think we can say men and guys and girls can be friends, but you need to be very clear of what those boundaries are.
And if you personally have a certain feeling or intention, you're not being real with yourself, nor are you being real with this person that you consider a friend. It really is more like you're dangling the carrot in front of the horse.
Which is, in that part, you're being toxic. I know we've used the word toxic gets
overused, but it's true.
But it's very toxic. If you're literally just holding on, like in my analogy before, somebody who's just trying to hold on to the attention of somebody, even though you have no intention of going anywhere with it, you're toxic, bro.
Check yourself.
You're toxic.
Facts.
And, I wish you the best, but you're toxic. I was going to say something crazy. No, I don't, actually.
He's just being PC.
I really don't.
He's just being PC.
I'm being PC. I was literally about to say something really egregious, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. We're a place of peace and non-violence here. So
it is a safe place. Juxtaposed.
Absolutely. And I was more than happy to be welcomed into unpacking this with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. So we could go into fuck boys and fuck girls.
I feel like that is a Jux explained. So we'll hit that on the Jux explained.
Okay. So people should,
which is a quick one. Yeah,
it's quick. So listen, if you made it this far through the whole conversation, I say it every time. We appreciate you because you had a lot of other places to choose to be on this Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
listening to it,
whatever day you're on. You could have been a lot of other places. So we appreciate you. If you have any questions or if you disagree with what we're saying, there's a little comment box at the bottom of this post. I guarantee you can put your strong comments there, and we'll get back to you. We may even pull you in for an episode because you know what? We're expanding. We're trying to have diverse conversations with diverse individuals. So thank you for making it this far. This has been Juxtaposed, and we're talking about the friend zone. So see y'all on the next one. Peace.